Studio A, here's John McIntyre.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcasting. We're live and in color from high atop Television Hill, Studio A. It's an incredible evening in the studio. For several weeks now, I've been trying to get together with Eleanor Schano. I keep wanting to call you the Grand Dame of broadcasting or something, but I'm not sure. That's a flattering term, isn't it? Don't say that. That's what I'm saying. I can't figure out what better to call Eleanor Schano. A broadcast veteran of many years, a classy dame and an incredible presence, and a wonderful talk show host in her own right. But I keep thinking there must be some sort of perfect title that would sum things up while still being complimentary, and I've been unable to think of it. Old broad. That's not it. Eleanor Schano is here. You may know that now she's a big deal news anchor in this town for many years. Were you the first consumer reporter? She was this television station's first everything. And so probably the first, the consumer reporters who out and go find the government people and take them in the back room and hit them with a rubber hose and beat the crap out of them until they give the rightful human beings what they have coming to them. Right, Dave? You've worked with those over the years. You're a television veteran. Yes. You're older than me and Eleanor put together, for crying out loud. So we're going to talk to her about her incredible career. We're going to have some old clips of Eleanor Schano back in the late 60s and early 70s, I believe. Well, maybe they're not old clips. They're just veteran clips or something. And it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be enjoyable. Tomorrow night on Free for All Night. And thank you for asking. My voice is indeed much better. Although now I got that rolling wave of fatigue thing. Dave, did you have that? Did you know? Because this building is the biggest, it is a giant crap fest full of germs. I mean, there's just no question about that. More people get sick in this building on a regular basis than anywhere I've ever worked, ever, by leaps and bounds. Maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know. Yeah, the guests are leaving now. Eleanor's on her way out the door. But anyway, so I got rid of the throat thing, but now I've got the rolling, everybody, my girlfriend had it, everybody had it. Did you have it, Dave?
Yes.
I think Dick had it.
Yep.
I think George the Animal didn't have it. Did you have it? See? I'm always the last to get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, but one thing we're going to do before we do the incredible Eleanor Schano interview, the Drudge Report. Do you know about that? It's an internet site. They stir up a lot of trouble. Their main claim to fame is having apparently broken the Lewinsky scandal. They are properly exploiting the Jenna Bush issue. Now, frequent viewers of this program know that I think it's perfectly normal that both of George Bush's daughters are running around drinking underage. Who doesn't do that in college? In fact, who doesn't do that in high school? That may not be good. It may not be moral. It may not be representative of the fine, upstanding family values party they are attempting to pass off on us. But it's reality. The Bushes have been quite red-faced at all the publicity their daughters have been getting. Jenna now caught twice, and Debbie Cassini here, the producer of Age Wise, who's with Eleanor, tells me perhaps 3 times drinking underage, 2 times in the recent past that we know about. So let me just read to you a little bit from the Drudge Report, and then I want your thoughts and feelings via the telephone. In the high-technology world of PCNC, where satellites abound, we go right to the telephone. The Drudge Report. White House fury as Bush daughters grace cover of People magazine. That's the controversy. Should we put them on the cover of People magazine at a sensitive time in their life? Or is it vicious in that we're exploiting them and we have no right to do that? First Lady Barbara Bush is furious in an upcoming People magazine cover story on her daughter, says the Drudge Report. According to top White House officials, editors have designed a June 18th cover with the headline, "The Bush Girls' Latest Scrape. Oops, they did it again." Kind of like a Britney Spears thing. All right, it's not that funny. "This is just wrong," the First Lady told staffers. Always one for an incredible quote. "Where will it end?" she reportedly said. As the National Enquirer is about to run quotes from a college student alleging he smoked pot with both Bush daughters. This is great. There are some pot-smoking, alcohol-drinking fraternal twins, aren't they? All right, Art Fleischer was aware. He's the yuppie press secretary that you just like to slap with a little, he was not aware, or he was aware that the People story was in the works for the June 18th edition, but was not aware it was going to be a cover story, which leads one to believe that it wasn't going to be a cover story until the whole drunk thing hit, and now they're actually going to explode. Fleischer warned that People's action would further distance the magazine from its readers. Now, isn't that ridiculous? More people are going to buy this issue than bought the last issue. It will not distance, it will in fact bring People and its readers closer together, obviously. That is really lame. And they actually had the editor of People over at the White House the other day. People, by the way, did put Chelsea Clinton on the cover, and the Clintons, and Bill was still president at the time, were mad about it. So, my question to you, Mr. and Mrs. Pittsburgh, and to all points beyond, is there anything wrong with putting the Bush twins on the cover of People magazine, writing all about them, including full coverage, if you will, of all of the latest shenanigans involving underage drinking and using somebody else's ID, and yada yada yada. The pot thing, I don't know. It's the National Enquirer. But don't forget, as Chris Rodell, the National Enquirer correspondent who's been in this program many times, points out, they've actually broken some legitimate stories in recent years. You know, maybe it's only 1 out of every 50. And again, I so much don't care that if they smoke pot, and I so much do not care that they drink if they drink. Pardon me. I'm just happy, as a pig in excrement, that the karma is coming around and biting those sanctimonious bushies in the butt, because they deserve it. So call in now, won't you? 333-PCNC. Tell me if you think there's anything wrong with putting the Bush twins on the cover of People magazine, if you think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, if you think it's a horrible exploitation of 2 sweet young innocent girls, if you think the Bushes should expect it, because welcome to public life, ladies and gentlemen. And even though it is arguably yellow journalism or shoddy journalism or cheap journalism, welcome to journalism. 333-PCNC. My voice is leaving me again, so I'll shut the hell up now, take a break, and when we come back, if we've got your phone calls, we'll take them. And then Eleanor Schano, ladies and gentlemen. Back in a moment on Night Talk. Back on Night Talk, ladies and gentlemen, my failing voice is hanging around enough to at least get through this segment, and then I'm going to let the lovely and talented Eleanor Schano do the great majority of the talking when she comes up here in just a few minutes. She is our featured guest this evening. Should we put the Bush twins, or should People magazine put the Bush twins on the cover and write all about them, or is that a horrible invasion of privacy? They're about to do it. That's the question we're asking you based on this Drudge report that's on the internet as we speak. 333-PCNC. Call now, won't you, ladies and gentlemen? Here is Terry on the line. Terry, what do you think? Oh,
hello.
Hi.
Hi, John.
Yeah, just listen to the phone. Don't listen to the TV. You should probably turn down the TV.
Hey, John, I'm on the phone.
I figured that, Terry. Go ahead anyway. What do you think? Do you have an opinion?
John, I'm on the phone, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Okay, Terry?
Yes, I can hear you.
What do you think of putting the Bush twins on the freaking cover of People?
I think that it's not an accomplishment. It's not a goal. It has nothing to do with reality. I mean, if they were doing something good with their life, yes, you know.
But we put O.J. Simpson on the cover of national magazines, and not because he did anything good with his life. I mean,
they're not doing anything. It's not a topic to even put on the cover. Everybody has done something in their life like that.
What'd you do? Did you used to get hammered all the time back in college?
I've done worse.
What'd you do?
Oh, I couldn't say it right now.
Did you rob a bank?
Oh, no.
Did you have an affair?
Oh, well, you know, what's an affair?
I gotcha.
You know.
That's what I'm talking about. What's an affair, really, when you think about it? It's hard to...
It's nothing that's anything great that they're doing with their life.
Okay, Terry, point well taken. You think it should actually be newsworthy or some sort of significant accomplishment?
I think it should just be shot down and forgotten.
Well, it's not going to be. We're going to exploit the hell out of it, and people won't stop yammering about it, or because we're cheap and shallow.
Yeah. People like to just push, I guess, drag people down.
Don't they?
They really do. It's just beat a dog until he's dying, and
well, yeah.
The whole thing is dying anyhow. It's going to eventually.
All right. Well, we've pretty much beaten this particular dog to death right here. So thanks so much for your call, Terry. Here is Frank. Frank, what do you think? Should we put the Bushmans on People?
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Hey, like the old saying goes, what goes around comes around, so they ain't no better than the Clintons.
But think about it, though, and I'm taking delight in it because whatever screws with President Doofus Boy makes my day. But it's not even if you believe that President Doofus Boy has something coming to him, why should we take it out on his daughters? They didn't do anything. They didn't run. We didn't elect them.
Well, yeah, like I said, what goes around comes around, John.
Well, all right, I'm not going to argue with you then.
Okie doke, thanks.
Thank you, Frank. We may be low on phone calls tonight. I don't know. I'll find out momentarily. Anybody else calling there, Dick? All right, 333-PCNC. If we don't get a call in the next 15 seconds, I'm going to consider it indicative of the fact that you really don't give a damn about this issue and that you probably don't think it ought to be on People magazine. But I still bet a bunch of you will buy the issue. And the clock is ticking and the phone calls are not coming, so screw it. Wait a minute, we got a phone call coming in. The call is flooding in, Dave. Wake up, damn it. This is a horrible show. I would have turned the channel by now. Carrie, not for Eleanor, Terry. Jerry, all right. Can't you pronounce consonants?
I'm just calling to rescue your show here.
One. Thank God.
Yeah. No, I think it's the most important issue of the day, frankly.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's because these girls had the one warning 2 months ago, and it indicates the typical Bush recklessness.
Oh, you think it's indicative of that he's passed the crazy gene on to the kids?
Oh, no question about it. I mean, he was reckless for most of his life, and they saw how he acted when they were young, and they're just following in his footsteps.
Isn't that the way to do it, though? When you're young, snort your coke, smoke your pot, have your affairs, and then clean it all up and get a big old job that you don't deserve. Isn't that the way to do it?
Well, yeah, if your old man's president of the United States, you can.
Sure.
The rest of us schmoes don't get away with this kind of stuff.
Not ordinarily, we don't, do we?
No.
All right, well, listen, thanks for your call. Thanks for rescuing me, man.
You bet.
You are the man.
Bye-bye.
We have Jackie.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that his kids are no better than anybody else's kids. And
Right.
just like he would exploit other kids, let his kids be exploited.
Well, we do exploit the children of the famous. I know that's a lousy defense, but it's certainly true that they probably get equal treatment.
Poor kids, too.
Well, but the poor kids aren't going to be on the cover of People, I suppose, unless they did a big
they're
story.
going to be on the cover of the local newspaper. So his kids
I
are
see
no
what
better
you're
than
saying.
anybody else's.
Good point.
All right, bye.
Hey, Jackie, thanks for calling. Ladies and gentlemen, Patty wants to comment on the issue of whether or not we ought to have the Bush twins on the cover of People magazine, as they apparently will be in the very near future. Patty, go ahead.
Yes, I think they should be on.
Why is that?
They know their parents are in the limelight, and I think they should be a little more careful as to what they do.
Especially that Jenna. What a maroon. A few weeks ago, she gets busted. Then she decides to use somebody else's ID a few weeks later. That's a chip off the old block.
Right, and then I just can't understand if you have the bodyguard, the bodyguards or whatever to take care of her. Why would they even let them go into a place underage?
Well, because they're under orders. First of all, I think you can go into a restaurant, you just can't order alcohol. Secondly, they're under orders to only intervene, or from what I've read, that's the case, if their safety or health or life is threatened. But not if they're just, breaking the law, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just put them up to a club that's under, they're underage, and let's send them in.
Why don't they just get the Secret Service agents to buy them the booze and then go back home?
That's right. There you go.
Your taxpayer dollars at work. Jackie, thank you.
Okay.
Debbie, you're on the line. Debbie, do you think we ought to put the Bush twins on the cover of People?
No, I don't. I feel sorry for them.
Why, oh, wait a minute. I know who this Debbie is. Why do you feel sorry for them?
I just feel sorry for them. I mean, I just do. I don't think they should do that to those poor girls.
Why are they? They're public figures. They had to know it. Their father chose.
Do you really think people care? I don't think they care.
I don't think they care, but I think they love. It's just like gossip. People love good gossip.
College. Yeah, it's good gossip, but okay. So they drank in college. I mean, I don't know. How far can you take it?
I don't know. And maybe they smoked pot too. That's what the National Enquirer says.
Yeah, but do people really care? I just don't think they do, and I feel sorry for these girls. Leave them alone.
All right, Debbie, thanks so much for your call.
Sure.
Thelma, you're on the line. Should we put the Bush twins on the cover of People? Thelma.
No, I think they're a person that needs a little bit of love and attention, and I don't think they ought to be like this.
You don't think that ought to be on the cover of
No,
People?
I don't. I have another problem.
They need some love and attention. All right, well, thanks for your call.
I need to tell you that swearing on TV is terrible.
What was the swear word I used?
Oh, my gosh. You don't want me to repeat it?
Well, spell it. Tonight? You're talking about this evening?
Yes, tonight.
Hell.
I don't want to ever watch your program again.
Well, I don't want you to ever watch it again. In fact, if I hear that you're ever watching it again, I'm going to come to your house, and we're going to have a face-to-face, Missy. People always, that's just it. And yet these people who complain about, turn the channel. But no, they take the time to call in. And I just want you to know that I don't like your show. Why do you want me to know that? Just turn it off. Not all of you, but Eleanor Schano's coming. There's a reason to watch. Tim, do you think we ought to put the Bush twins? Jim, do you think we ought to put the Bush twins on the cover of People?
Well, one way or the other, it doesn't matter. The fact that they keep getting caught is
unbelievable.
Come on. I mean, if you're going to do it, I mean, we've all been there. We've done it. Don't get caught.
Right.
I mean, you got...
Yeah, how about that? You got a lot of resources. You got rich, powerful parents. You got freaking Secret Service agents following you around, giving you transportation. You can't figure out a way to drink and not get caught. That's an excellent point.
Even if you are burnout, do it right.
Right. Have the Visine with you at all times. Do the whole burnout routine.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for your call. Well, maybe we ought to end this. What do you think, Dick? Who we got? Or maybe I'll ask Joe, and then we'll end it. Joe, what do you think? Should we put the Bush twins on the cover of People?
No, I think that they should put the mother and the father and the other daughter on the cover, because Janet had a emergency appendectomy, and they didn't even stay around.
Yeah, excellent point. Whatever the hell you're talking about. Thanks so much for your call.
Like
that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a fitting conclusion to a substantive discussion. Let's take a break and get to the real part of this program. Eleanor Schano on Night Talk in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, veteran broadcaster and all-around classy dame Eleanor Schano is here. Host right now, by the way, these days of Age-Wise on WQED.
We're going to change the name to Ageless, don't you think?
Actually, I do think that. That's an excellent idea. Not that there's anything wrong with Age-Wise, it's fine, but Ageless is better.
I was just having the best time out there. You have more fun talking to yourself.
Yes.
You really do.
Well, if I'm just talking to myself, then what are you doing on the show, Missy? You gotta hope somebody's watching out there. You just don't want to call.
I brought that. You know, we have something in common.
What's that?
We have the same hairdresser. And
yes, Gino and Emilio of Zazu Salon.
Sent some super shine. He said you needed some super shine. It just flew in the back.
He's always trying to peddle that crap.
Don't you want to know what I think about the Bush twins?
I would love to find out what you think.
Well, number one, I think that Barbara probably said it best. She said it's payback time.
Grandma Barbara, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine any bartender calling 911 when somebody is handing a false ID.
Yeah, you can see
it's
that
kind of a
undoubtedly,
little overkill,
or
isn't it?
you certainly led to believe that they are not Bush fans and perhaps loyal Democrats and perhaps wanted to stir up some trouble and called 911.
And I agree with one of the callers. I really don't think people care all that much.
I don't think they care, but I think they're interested enough to buy magazines. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Not that, I mean, I'm generalizing, of course. You probably won't care. You probably won't buy the cover of
No, I probably won't. Probably won't.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't care about them anymore. I want to talk about you, unless you feel like talking about them.
No. Let's talk about what it used to be like here about 20, 30 years ago.
And that's when you worked here.
Absolutely.
Well, why don't we just show a clip just to give people the flavor and the feel. She was a remarkable anchor woman here, but also she was, I believe, the area's first consumer reporter, television consumer reporter.
Actually, John, I think I was the area's first woman everything, because there weren't any women. I mean, if I could give you a snapshot of what broadcasting was like 40, 50 years ago, women just didn't exist. So, I didn't know that we weren't welcome, so I just kind of went barging in, and I became the first weathercaster. I think you're talking about the Action Line reporter.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That's why I equate the two to be the same.
Right.
Are they not one and the same?
Well, it was, yeah, it really was. I was the Action Line reporter, and actually Wayne Van Dyne followed me when I moved from the Action Line reporter to the anchor desk.
Yes, I have that
clip.
clip.
He is still doing that.
Yes, today.
KDK.
And we'll show that clip later. But right now, well, let me just show you. Back in her Action Line days, from, I don't know, circa late 60s, early 70s.
Probably 1971, 72.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, then, Eleanor Schano.
Tonight, not one, but two follow-ups to report, and the folks down at City Hall really deserve a big round of applause. Once again, they came through, responded immediately to a personal request from Action Line. Now, both complaints came from the same street in the West End. It was about the middle of July that the folks began screaming about this eyesore at 38 Wabash Avenue. A building abandoned for a long time had nearby merchants and homeowners frantic. It was a potential tinderbox, wide open, used almost every night as a haven haven for precocious youngsters and derelicts. Well, we notified the city's building inspector's office. They ran a check, told us the owner had been notified last January, given 30 days to fix up or tear down. Well, since nothing was done, the city went out, they condemned the building, boarded it up, and at least it's some progress. Now that folks can at least sleep these nights. We want to say thank you. Sometimes we wonder why it takes a public airing to have these problems corrected. But then I suppose that's what Action Line is really all about.
There you were, kicking butt, taking names, making sure that people cleaned up the dirty buildings.
You know, it still works. I think that's one of the powers of television, that, you know, really, you do get to see things done when you the consumer reporter and the Action Line reporter.
I actually used to do that in Orlando, and it was satisfying when it worked.
Yeah.
But did they ever tell you, hey, they're advertisers, Eleanor, lay off, or did they give you?
No, never.
Good for you. That's great.
No. You were a newsman too, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
A newsman. And well, do you miss any of that? Do you miss?
No, I am having the time of my life. I have never had as much fun as I'm having right now because I'm doing exactly what I love to do. I decided about. I didn't decide. I reinvented myself. Let's face it. I mean, who wants a woman on television at my age, right? So you have to reinvent yourself. Come to think of it, with the same hairstylist, you are allowed to have a few little gray hairs. Have you ever seen a woman on television with
gray hair in this kind of a role? Not that I can think of. No,
and you never ever will.
Ann Bishop was a legendary anchor woman in Miami.
She was blonde, very blonde.
Really?
Very blonde. Ann did not have a gray hair.
Your producer's saying Ann Devlin. Yeah, but she didn't have gray hair.
But Ann Devlin was 24 years old.
But Debbie, your producer, is insisting that Ann Devlin had gray hair.
She was prematurely gray.
Does Ann Devlin want that broadcast?
I know. But Ann
right.
Devlin is now a blonde.
Yes, she's now a blonde.
Right?
She's erased that.
Right. You will never see a woman with gray hair on television. There is a double standard, John.
Oh, definitely.
It's much easier for a man to grow older on television than it is for a woman.
Well, do you feel all the managers that were running the place then, are they gone now?
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, a couple of them were run right out of this building.
Okay, good. So I can talk about them in the abstract, and I don't have to get in trouble.
In fact,
did you think they prematurely pushed you out of here because?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Good.
I was young when I left here.
Okay,
I really
good.
was. I was young enough. No, I went from here to Channel 2.
And had many years there?
Yeah, I had many years there. And then I left Pittsburgh and I went to Florida for a while, and then I came back. And when I came back, I didn't even, at that point, I really didn't even try to get a job in television. And I went to work for a dear old friend of mine, Bob Dickey, who is the owner and vice president of KQV. Worked there until I was asked to host a show on WQED, and this is 11 years ago, called H-Wise. And some of my friends said, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to host a show for, you're just kind of going to create an image for yourself that. And I said, well, yeah, but it's the right image. And it's been a real comfortable fit, and it's wonderful. And I've kind of become that's my mission now. We preach and we teach and we say it's okay to grow older. And in fact, there was a commentator, a reporter on Tonight, and I got to tell you, on another station, that referred to, well, she was covering a senior fest. And nice group of people, and really intelligent, articulate people, and they had a lot of wonderful things to say. She came out of the report, and she sat there and said to the anchor, I just love those old folks. I love those old folks.
What a patronizing
putz. Yeah. I mean, those are the people we send to the home, aren't they? Send them right over to the old folks.
Yeah, aren't they cute? They're like puppies.
That's right. That's about as politically incorrect as you can get. So I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I love those old folks.
What station was it?
It was that one out on the Parkway.
Not the one downtown, but the other one.
No, not the one. The other one. Yeah, not this one, not the one downtown, but that other one out in the Parkway.
But was Scotty Baker involved in any of this? Because he's been on the NightTalk show.
Yeah. No,
yes, he's the anchor they were pitching back to.
Yeah, he was the anchor who said.
Well, he probably told him to say that.
Who kind of smiled and said.
Great. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. 333 PCNC. If you've got any questions for Eleanor, I have many, and we have more clips. So stay with us on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel.
Marianne, since most of our neighboring states do not have a similar regulation, what about people traveling into Pennsylvania from out of town? What do they do if they need a hypodermic needle for insulin?
What happens to a person who finds himself in this condition, I really would hesitate to say.
So what's the answer? Well, Marianne suggests that anyone sharing her concern write to the Pennsylvania Pharmacy Board and ask that that ruling be rescinded. Or you can contact your state representative and ask that legislation be introduced that would exclude diabetics from this kind of ruling.
Wow. Eleanor Schano, back when she was a big do-gooder for the world at large in the Action Line days. You don't even remember
Women's
that?
Hair, I don't. I mean, women's hairstyles really change a lot. And wow, I don't know.
You didn't like the hair? I thought the hair looked good. I mean, it looks very good now.
I think those were the days when we wore wigs. A lot of us wore wigs.
Was that a wig?
I don't know. I don't have to look at it a little closer.
Here is Lori is on the line for Eleanor Schano. Lori?
Yes, Eleanor. My question is, do you ever consider retiring?
Why would I want to retire? Why? I mean, why would anybody want to quit doing something that they love to do? A lot of people ask me that question, but I really have no intention. In fact, Jim Roddy and I talk about this frequently. Jim and I are just about the same age. Jim is going to retire when he's 92, and I think I'm going to think about it around the same age.
Jim hits on you from time to time, I would assume?
No. Jim Roddy, our county executive.
That's what I'm talking about. Or Hef, as we call him here.
What would make you say such a thing?
Come on, Jim. This guy's got a twinkle in his eye. He's got a spring in his step.
He just has a lot of vitality, a lot of energy.
A little sexual charisma going on there.
Nobody has ever asked Jim Roddy if he's going to retire, have they?
Probably not.
Again, the gender discrimination.
But they have said, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all. There's complete gender discrimination. But I think they've at least said...
And he has gray hair.
Why, that's true. And yet he gets to be the big public figure. But they have asked him, you don't need this. Why do you bother to do it? Because he's made many millions, I believe.
That's right. I don't think that at this point I'm not working because I really need to work. I mean,
right,
honestly,
I'm sure.
I don't have
totally believe
to
that.
work. I am working because I love what I do, and I can't imagine doing anything that would be more enjoyable. And I do think that what we do at WQED is making a little difference. I think that we're out there trying to say it is okay to grow older. And
how about the new generation of broadcasters that doesn't seem to think one of the points of broadcasting is necessarily to make a difference? That's sort of an old school, I think, line of thinking, and a good one. Well, and you seem like you've, still carry it, and perhaps always did.
The new school of broadcasting is it's just a constantly changing scene. I only can really. I guess talk about what's happening in the news end of the business. And when I started as a news reporter and as a news anchor, there was really no competitive pressure, John, because news was not meant to make money. It was not a profit center. All we were supposed to do was do the most straightforward and the best newscast so that we could be a nice lead-in for the primetime evening programming. Well, today, as we know, I mean, this is all. It's all bottom line. It's all economically driven, and I don't know that it's quite as good as it used to be.
Let me throw in a question from Martha for Eleanor Schano. Martha?
Good evening, Eleanor.
Hi, Martha.
I enjoy listening to you on your age-wise show. I'm about that age.
Thank you.
And also, I wanted to know if Ricky works out at QED.
No, Ricky retired, probably about a year and a half ago. I speak to her frequently. She and her husband, Tom, are just enjoying life. They're enjoying children and grandchildren, and she's having a wonderful time, and Ricky is just fine, and I'm sure that she's going to be very happy that you
remember her
about
dog, Copper?
Oh, Copper died many, many years ago. Oh, poor Copper. My gosh.
Well, that was when junior high quiz was on. She used to have Copper on.
Right. And that was probably 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and Copper was pretty old even when he worked at Channel 4.
And you ever hear from Josie Carey? Is she still?
No, Josie's very active, though, in little theater work. I haven't seen her. She did a children's show for a while on WQED. And now I understand that she's doing a lot of acting.
You ever hear from any of these people, Martha?
Off and on.
Huh.
I said, Fred Rogers was talking about Josie Carey when he used to work with her.
You were hanging out with Fred the other day?
No, they interviewed him. He's retiring.
I heard that.
And they had him on Channel 2.
Well, Fred is really reinventing himself again. He's not retiring.
No, he's going into a different field.
Right. He has writing and so many things to do, and they have thousands and thousands of episodes of The Neighborhood, and that will go on for another millennium. So he just decided that he's not going to produce The Neighborhood anymore, and I see Fred a lot. Fred swims about 5 miles every day. He walks. Fred is a wonderful guy, and he walks from where he lives to where he swims because he doesn't want to pay for the parking.
Oh, so Fred's a wonderful guy who happens to be a little bit cheap.
Well, he's practical, you know. That's
why does that
Fred.
make sense somehow? Makes sense that Fred Rogers would be a little bit
Well, he's just
fastidious.
a nice kind of simple little guy who doesn't understand why you would have to pay money to park your car.
Seems like all the wealthy people are cheap, though. That's probably why I'm not wealthy, or that and a myriad of other reasons.
But you look you really look rich.
Yeah, right. Here's Dorothy for That's Rich. Here's Dorothy for Eleanor Schano.
Hi,
Dorothy.
Hi, Eleanor.
Hi, Dorothy.
I have been following your career for years. I remember when you were a model. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you do have a wonderful memory. I hardly remember that.
But
sure.
you were, and you look so great. And I'm so happy that for our age, that you could look so well, and you are making other women our age to feel better about themselves. I want you to keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much. I think we are wonderful.
I mean,
what's wrong with our age?
And I think if we keep active and keep healthy, we're doing fine.
I have never felt better in my life.
And you
I have
look
never
great.
had more energy. I have never really been happier in my whole life.
Dorothy, you figure Jim Roddy's got to be hitting on her, wouldn't you think? Looking this good?
I don't know, but she's right about the gray hair.
Oh, yeah, absolutely she is. Yeah.
She's a lot gray hair, but the women aren't.
No, and you know the other thing, the women aren't allowed. They're not even allowed to gain a couple of pounds. I mean, as soon as you do, they say, "Well, honey, don't you think maybe you should pass dessert tonight?" But has a boss ever told you that maybe you should change anything? No, because the boss is sitting there with a little...
Well, just stop wearing the crummy suits, maybe. But no, you're right. Generally speaking, there's much more attention paid to the women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although they've changed David Johnson's hair about 5,000 times since I've been here.
Yeah, I haven't seen David this time, but David did go into that really kind of dark, and then he's back with a little...
He's back with a little gray at the temples. Yeah, it looks good. I got to take a break in a minute, but I'm sure people ask you this all the time, but what the hell, who needs original questions? You do look very, very good, and so everyone must ask you the secret.
Well, my secret was revealed. I finally made the centerfold.
Did you?
I made the centerfold.
Man, I'll buy a copy of that.
Pittsburgh Magazine.
Oh.
Pittsburgh Magazine. And they had asked me to write a little article about, feeling good and being fit, and I did. And I don't really care that much about being thin, but I do care about being fit. And so I do certain things all the time, and I go walking every day, every single day. And that's my time, and it's...
Consistent exercise.
Consistent exercise.
And plus Gino and Emilio at Azazu Salon, the fine hair salon that you frequent.
They're just so proud of you because they told me to.
Because they have such horrible hair before they got a hold of me?
No, well, they said something about Jay Leno.
Yeah, what they're gonna do is give me a chin transplant, and they're thinking my career will take off.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, more Eleanor Schano, more clips in a moment.
Is really all about? Well, over the years, it's been a lot of things. Sometimes it fills potholes or gets stop signs or street lights. Sometimes it solves traffic problems and parking dilemmas. Then it also has a human, gentle side, too, like the time it helped a little girl who needed surgery to correct a protruding ear, or the time it got heat and water for the elderly invalid lady living alone. Oh, there are other times that it handles mudslides or motorbikes or moves statues. Therefore, I have rather mixed emotions tonight as I turn the Action Line department over to a dear friend. Yes, as of now, Action Line has a new ear, a new helping hand. Here is your Action Line reporter, Wayne Van Dyne. So the name is Wayne and the number 323-1717.
I have to remember that, Eleanor. I've watched with great interest and admiration the way you've handled the Action Line, and I'm looking forward to the assignment a great deal.
He just couldn't wait to bump you off, could he? He was a young and hungry little punk.
That was quite a time, and you want to know why I turned it over to Wayne Van Dyne?
Yes.
Well, because it was about 1972, and the federal government said, looks like all those people on the evening news are very white and very male, and we need a little diversity, and you better find a woman. And so I was the woman, and it was affirmative action that put me in the anchor seat.
So you're very pro-affirmative action these days.
I sure am. It certainly...
Did you feel resentment from some of the men around the station, either whether in management or just colleagues or whomever?
Well, no, I really, you know what, I've never felt resentment toward anybody in this business because I've had no reason to. I mean, the business has been really good to me, and of course I was, I was pretty excited. I mean, I was the first woman anchor. There were no women anchors. I was the first woman anchor, so that was really, I wasn't particularly caring at that moment whether it was the federal government or what.
Right,
I was just happy I was there. But it never would have happened if it had not been for the affirmative action.
A lot of sexual harassment back then? No more than these days?
I could probably write a book, and every woman in broadcasting could. You know, we were invisible except if we wore very short skirts, if we were, I mean, it was, yes, a lot of sexual harassment, but you didn't know what it was and who were you going to complain to.
All right, nobody would have cared, probably.
No, because it kept going all the way right up to the top.
Not like these days when none of the people here would ever do that. I want to get that straight. Got to keep the paycheck coming at least for a little while.
Are you having fun?
Yes, I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
No, I mean, are you having fun doing this instead of news?
Yes, very much. I would, if I had to go back to news, I would probably shoot myself shortly afterwards.
I mean, you must have been winking and nodding and raising your eyebrow and being very politically incorrect.
Right, and then the boss would pull me into the office and yell, and I had to get out. Is there any other type of program you would like to do? You're doing this public affairs sort of, as you say, do good for the community kind of program?
Well, I don't think it's do good for the community. I think it's a I mean, it's an issue-oriented show. We actually, you know, people say, and Debbie is my producer, and she's here with me tonight, and I don't think there's anything that we don't do on Age-Wise, and we are going to, if I have anything to do with it, we are going to change the name to Ageless because we are becoming an ageless society. I just don't think that age is as relevant as it used to be. People are living longer, people are more active, people are more involved, and I love what I'm doing right now, but I certainly always have an open mind, and I'm always looking for the the next opportunity maybe to do something else. I want to do a lot of things. I love to write.
What would you like? Would you like to write a book, a screenplay?
Of course. No. I think everybody wants to write a book someday.
So what would you write about? I mean, you could write about your career, obviously, or you could write about.
I think I'd like to write about. I think I'd like to write about women in this business and what has happened and how women's careers have evolved over the years.
So do you acknowledge, or would you acknowledge that even though they have a long way to go, they have it a lot better today? I mean, how much progress has been made and how far is there to go?
Well, there's no question. I mean, there is no question. Probably 2/3 of the women graduates, the journalism school graduates now, are women, and there are more women in broadcasting today than ever before. I still think that there's a great deal of disparity in wages, I'm sure. I think that women have a long way to go. My big mission now, my big crusade, is to help women with age discrimination, because I think that we're going to see certainly a lot of 20-somethings coming on the scene. I think that you can watch very carefully as soon as a woman reaches 40. She is really being studied very carefully.
This may have been a coincidence, but you remember the Monday Night Football woman, I could have the name wrong, but Leslie Visser, I believe, suddenly out, and the cute a young woman, also a good sports reporter, but younger, arguably cuter, Melissa Stark, I think her name is, moved in only within the last couple of years.
And nationally, you know, we still have Barbara Walters, and Barbara has created a niche, and I mean, she's a one of a kind, and I think Diane Sawyer. Diane Sawyer is in her 50s now, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, because this is still an industry that is very taken with youth. We live in a youth-oriented society, which is nuts. I mean, it's just crazy.
I totally agree. Did you have any role models then, or since there wasn't anybody?
No, I did not. I did not have a role model. There was not a woman working in broadcasting when I started, so no, I had no one to look up to.
You put the broad in broadcasting.
As a matter of fact, I remember a general manager once saying, "We don't need any broads in broadcasting."
Whatever happened to him?
I think he's a guard at the penitentiary in Kansas City the last time I heard.
Are you serious? I thought you were kidding, but are you serious?
No, then we had a general manager that used to be here that he is, I think he's in the cement business or heavy hauling equipment business.
You mean that's like the cement business in Jersey?
Yeah, out somewhere out in the West Coast. I mean, we sent a lot of people west from this station.
Dick says in my ear, California. So you know this guy, Dick?
Is he in California?
California, he says. Whatever. So you feel like you've extracted revenge on all the evil managers.
Dick has been here a long time, too.
You feel as though you've extracted revenge on all the evil bosses from your past.
I think I've out-survived a lot of them. And that is the best revenge, isn't it?
And you're still broadcasting, still doing a great job, and still having a nice follow.
I'm having a good time. I'm having a wonderful time. And I'm really happy to be here. It's so nice to be here and to be sitting up and be awake, because I do watch your show. I do enjoy it, and I probably watch it like a lot of people with the big thing of popcorn, all propped up in bed with the magazines, and it's kind of nice to be out this late.
Right, and then you hear the knock on the door, and it's like, look, Jim, I told you. All right, Eleanor, Schano, thanks so much for coming.
Sure. Good. I hope you feel better.
Thank you. I will. Age-wise, every weekend on WQED, Saturdays, and a rebroadcast Sundays.
Right.
Back in a moment with David Johnson. He's an old guy that is going to be pushed out the door soon, maybe. Or maybe not. Stay with us. You know, David Johnson, these dames like Eleanor Schano lent a touch of class to broadcasting that it seems to be missing now. Not that the current lovely women aren't wonderfully and classy and all.
Right, and she still does, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
But whatever happened, there seemed to be more like a sort of statuesque or more regal or something a while ago.
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
It's just you. No, you're right. I think you're right. I don't know what to say.
I don't know what the point is either. Yeah. How about those Lakers? You're a big Laker fan. They blew it last night.
Yeah, they sure did blow it. Iverson is the real thing, though, isn't he?
He is amazing.
You know, because he's like our size. Well, he weighs less.
Yes.
He's like 6 feet tall, 160 pounds.